Hello, hello. Good day, everybody. Nice to be here. Um, just so you know, I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, where it's pretty nice right now.
Okay, well, Jeff, we've got essentially a key topic with BI 2025, as mentioned before. Well, now is you need to be going to UNX. This is something that we've been talking about for what the past 7 years or so, and I can imagine a lot of people have delayed that, but now it's the time. And here, over the years, as I said, is we've helped customers repoint millions and millions and millions of Webby documents. So we have put together this 6-step methodology where it goes. Of course, it starts with the backup. Essentially, whatever you do is you need to have an insurance, and this is your backup. Then the second step, it's about your audit, where well, perhaps you don't need to convert all your universe and repoint all your Webby documents. We will help you understand what are not used. Obviously, once you find that documents are not used, universe not used, you may want to do the cleanup. You may want to archive them. After that, you need to convert your universe from UNV to UNX. Obviously, after that, you need to provide them a new address through the repointing. And then ultimately, it's all about the validation. Well, JF, let's go through these. Can you, at a high level, and perhaps after that, if you don't mind doing a demo, that would be cool. What can you tell us about the backup?
Well, backups always been a question, I would say, with business objects. So most solutions that customer use are in block backups, which are kind of okay for disaster recovery. But when you start into a project like converting and repointing your documents, you may have to, restore individual documents, individual universes if anything goes wrong. And that is a solution we offer here. Our backup system backs up all the objects, and I take that very, very widely. That's not only universes and documents, but that's our target here individually. And you will be able to, as you can see on this nice screenshot here, restore them individually, even compare them if that's what you want to do
And you can
before you
even
commit.
roll back at the object level, so which is really nice due to the incremental capabilities. So if there's something's corrupted, you can go down to the object. And I think, is if I'm correct, we also even handle personal documents.
Absolutely. Again, we cover the entire content of business objects. And this is a little bit off topic, but we also offer disaster recovery. So when you lose everything, using the same backup, we have solutions for that.
And yeah, you can even, I know even SAP does that with Wisdom, where they can even keep their environments in sync. So thanks to 360 and Wisdom. Okay, the second step is about the auditing. So what can you tell us about that? Why are we talking about that?
Well, the first thing is most customers like visibility on the content, not from their own fault, but they don't have the tools for it. So when you dive into a project like a migration, or in this case the pre-migration conversion, you probably don't want to handle obsolete, stale content or unused content. So what we provide is an analysis of your content, and a very broad one at that. But we'll focus really on what matters here for the upgrade. Um, we will capture information from your system database, all your metadata. We will capture information from within the different objects. For example, which documents use which objects of which universe. But also, very important, we will correlate all that information with what's in your audit database. That is usage, or even more important, not usage of your different contents. And as you can see on this little snippet of a document here, you will have all the activity. Again, lack
Awesome.
thereof displayed right there.
Yeah, because essentially you don't want to convert, you don't want to repoint something that's not being used. Obviously, then after that, once you do that, you need to do the cleanup.
Yes. And for what follows, one thing that's important to understand about the 360 Suite offering is that we can perform a lot of operations that are very lengthy, very click intensive in business objects in bulk. So the cleanup, for example, we will flag somehow. So we have bulk processes that will allow you to flag, let's say, unused content, and flag them with a tag like this one to archive or whatever works for you. And then we will be able to archive or delete that content in bulk. In a single operation, you can move thousands or tens of thousands of documents at once or instances for that matter, to archive and outside of your business objects footprint prior to migration.
And we even have an option where you can also keep that content in business object, but essentially hide it. So if you're afraid to delete it or to do a real physical archive, there's a way in between. Initially, this is something that we commonly do. Then after that, it's a conversion of your UNVs to UNX.
Yes. Again, in bulk, if you have a large number of universes, of course, the IDT is there for the onesies, twosies, but this allows you to basically pick any number of UNVs, click one button, and the resulting corresponding UNXs will be created typically in the same folder, but you can also choose that. So flexibility also here is the key.
And where wisdom comes into play, it's more when you've got like quite a few UNVs, then you're gonna save a lot of time and reliability on that. Okay, then after that, it's about the bulk repointing.
Well, this is huge, right? If you've ever tried to repoint a WebE from one universe to another, well, I say tried, it works fine. However, it is very time intensive. We've estimated the time it takes to do that. I mean, it varies, but we're talking minutes here. And when you multiply those minutes by tens or hundreds of thousands of documents, you get astronomical figures of the manpower required. So in this case, we offer two different approaches. The reason why I mentioned that is that, again, we will adapt to the way you approach your project. But the bottom line is that we will be able to, in bulk, repoint the web intelligence from whatever old or simply said UNV universes to their new flavor, to the UNX. And again, in bulk, very easily. By the way, there is of course, the freehand SQL, which is not universe related, that of course is not converted automatically, but customized SQL will be.
So let's go to the next one. Here is obviously at the end is once you've done all that work, is you need to be validating your entire process, because regressions do happen. And it's just a matter of finding them to make sure that people have a proper taste. So, Jeff, let's go directly into the demo, if you don't mind sharing your screen. I will stop sharing right now.
I will see how I can do that, because this is new to me. And there we go. Present. Share screen.
And I see a good question from John in the meantime about the Tomcat, something that we're going to talk about later on, John.
Okay.
So, Jeff, we don't yet see your screen.
I know. I'm fighting a little bit here.
Not a big deal.
Window here.
So there's a question in the meantime from Nadia. Is it possible to have to test a version of BI 2025? Well, Nadia, right now, you could have tested it before, but I think this is over right now. So you will need to be waiting until the new version of Business Objects is out mid-March.
Bruno, I think I'm sharing my screen right now. I don't know if you have
You know what? Here. Okay, I see your screen right now, and you're in.
Fantastic.
So,
Okay.
is that the new cockpit?
Yes, exactly. I wanted to touch a word on that. So when you log into 360Suite, this is the screen you will see immediately after log on. And it provides you with some statistical information, which is interesting, but I will glance over that. You will see there's a orange bullet here under the title, over the title Audit BI 2025 Readiness. So our cockpit will show you information about your level of readiness for 2025. And here in iDemo system, we have 10 UNVs that are still there. They may not be converted, but it's drawing your attention to the fact that, hey, they should be taken care of. I also have 2 crystal reports for enterprise. You will remember that Gregory said 2025, you will have to find an alternative for that. Again, it's drawing my attention to that. And finally, it tells me, hey, I have that many documents that are still pointing to UNVs. You will have to take care of that. So at a glance, your level of readiness for 2025.
Okay, so that's cool. So this is available to the current all Wiiisdom 360Suite customers. So, hey, can you show us at a high level the backup and how to convert and to repoint and validate?
Absolutely. So let's start with the backups. The setup is very simple. Basically, we establish a backup task. And what it does is very simple. It will, using its own technology, take a copy in a compressed format of all the objects, or if you want, you can restrict that in your system. And the next time, so you run those backups typically daily. The next time you run them, it will pick up only anything that has changed. That is something new or something that has been modified. So that means those backups run very fast. And so once that backup is in place, once it has run, you will be able to restore very easily individual items, objects. They could be entire folders like this. And so if I go to manage backups here from the 360 interface, so this is very similar to what you would see in the CMC, right? It's a list of folders. But here I see the different backups that were kept. Again, incremental. So that means for each of those, something has changed from the previous one. And if I decide, okay, well, there's something I need to restore, just click on this button here. And I can just overwrite, or I can restore side by side if I want to be extra certain. This is a folder, so do I want subfolder? Do I want the documents? And if I do want the documents, do I want to restore the instances? So that is for a whole container. And similarly, if I go to the contents of a folder, same thing here. So if I click on an individual document, I have the same options available to me, with the extra option of comparing my current document with what's in the backup. Again, a very, very useful feature here. And same thing here, I can replace or side by side, and I can restore instances if there are any associated with the document. So extreme flexibility here, important in this type of projects because it's easy to break something, inadvertently, or sometimes regressions happen, but you can pick and choose what you need to restore. And again, as a reminder, you can use the very same backup for a full restore in case of big corruption, but you can also keep a side-by-side system synchronized.
Okay, can we move on?
Certainly. Let's take a look at the auditing. I will go very quickly through that just to give you a flavor. Nope, I do want to continue. So all the information we mentioned before that is captured is actually stored in one little data mart that we maintain, and we use Webby documents to get information out of there. So we were talking about document activity. So we have document usage here. Okay, well, that's fine. This is what you saw on the screenshot. So for each document in your system, or a subset, of course, you can see when they were last used, how much activity there was, that's the action count, or possibly that they were never used in the time frame we were interested in. Likewise, for universes, we have the unused universe object. So this is a summary that shows you for each universe how many objects exist in the universe, and next to it, how many of those objects are actually used. What objects are actually used in a Webby or other queries. And then here, okay, I will have to unfortunately refresh that, so I'll skip that. But you'll take my word for it. We can go down to the detail level and show for each of those universes which objects are used, which are not used, and so on and so forth. And then impact analysis here. This is out of the box. We have for each universe the documents and that are connected to that universe. I have a simplified version here that is working by section. So for this universe, I have all these documents that use it. So this gives you an overview of what you have to migrate or convert, as the case may be, and from there you will make your cleanup.
Fair enough.
Which brings us to the cleanup. Not much to see here because it's a bulk process. We will have identified what we need. We have bulk processes called administration tasks that will allow us to flag the content that we want to move, and we have that we want to clean up, that is delete or archive, as the case may be, and likewise we'll be able to handle that in complete bulk. Okay, this is not very exciting, so I will not go through a full demo, but basically what we do is create a task that can be scheduled to run immediately or at another time. And then we have a huge collection of features. We'll talk about the repointing in a moment, but we can manage our users. As you can see here, we can archive flagged resources that will be either pseudo-archived, as Bruno mentioned. That means they disappear for everybody except the administrators. They look like they're deleted, but they can be restored in a few clicks. And of course, we can archive off from the platform, which for all intents and purposes is deleted from the business objects system. Okay.
Okay, let's move on to more exciting parts, JF. So where rubber meets the road, where big savings happen there.
Yes. So I will not touch on the conversion because, again, that is so straightforward. I'm pretty sure everybody get that. The repointing. So here, again, using those so-called administration tasks, there is a process, a feature called repoint Webby Universe. Why are they two different ones? Well, again, it is to align with your approach in your particular project. To make it simple, you can work universe by universe. That is the first one, which is the one I will show you. Or you can work at document level. So given a document, of course, a set of documents, you may want to replace all the universe, repoint all the universes at once. But to keep it simple, I will show you this one. And basically what we are going to do is provide a list of content to be processed. For example, a particular area of the business. This information will be provided directly from here, from our so-called documentation tasks, or as you have seen from our audit processes, our audit reports, we can export that to a file. But at the end of the day, you will have a collection of Webbies that you want to repoint, and you will simply specify, on the one hand, the quote-unquote old universe, which in our case will be the UNV, and on the other hand, the corresponding UNX or new universe. A few parameters here that you may recognize if you've ever done a repointing by hand. And we'll click on process here, execute the task. 360Suite will go through all of your documents. Whenever it identifies the UNV, it will change in the document that reference to the UNX, and we're done with that.
Fair enough. And then the best for the end now for the validation.
Validation. So this is not just about conversion from UNV to UNX. It may prove handy, it will prove handy after your migration as well. But the general principle is this. We will capture information before and after something. So in our case, we're talking about converting UNV to UNX and repointing accordingly. So what we will do is capture information before the repointing and information after the repointing, and then we will execute a comparison. That comparison ran successfully here, but it's flagging my outcome as non-matching. That means that between the two captures, something changed. Something is not just right. So I will open this display here. And this shows me that in my little demo sample, I had just 3 documents. And good news, on the green here, I have one document that is 100% matching. No discrepancies, no need to take a look at it. However, there are 2 others that show some difference. So I'll click on the first one. And it's a Webby. You see at the bottom there the different tabs, the different reports. And this first one is crosstab. And everything highlighted in orange is indicating a discrepancy. And not necessarily something that's easy to catch with the naked eye. For example, this first cell here, 227.68, 225.19, not easy to catch, but 360Suite does capture that information and displays it to you. You can also go to an analytical view, which goes in many details, cell by cell, and you can see that in a different format.
So essentially here, you can compare the data, you can compare the pixels, you can compare the metadata. Can you document all that?
Yeah, I'm getting there actually. So yes, you said the pixels. This is also an example. The graphs are different, which is highlighted here as well. Another thing that may be very important, especially in a migration of this kind, is the execution time. The execution time is captured, and I can decide when I display this what difference, what percentage makes it a discrepancy. So even my green document there, if the execution time had been too different, would have been flagged as not being the same. And then you see those two Excel buttons here. There are two types of information that I can extract from this. So I have this one here. How will I be able to share that? Give me just a second. I will show you the outcome in a minute.
While you're looking as well, there's another great thing we do at Wiiisdom. We're also able to validate the data providers. So we can actually run a query between your cube and your data provider, and we can make sure that whatever is supposed to show up shows up. And this also helps you to validate your ETL. So this is extremely convenient.
Yeah. Let me see. I will stop sharing for a second, and then I will.
And
reshare.
just after we'll have Gassan that's gonna come, and actually I'll be curious to ask him if he had any regressions. I think he had close to 60,000 documents, in his process. So it's not small. The largest ones we had were over 1 million documents. Well, JF, if it's difficult for you to find, we'll just pass over
I
and
should be good if you want to
just
allow
show
me
it
to
for a
present.
second, and then I know we need to move. So yeah, if you can show it right away.
Yep. Yeah, I think you have to bring me up to the screen.
Nope. I think okay. So here, okay. Yes, I have now. You're
There we
good.
go. Fantastic. So very quickly, this is the summary information. You see all three documents here with so-called metrics. That is how many discrepancies there are, and then I have this other one, which is the detailed analysis. This is important. Why? Well, because it allows you to document your validation and possibly share it with your stakeholders and have the
Yeah,
proof
obviously you want
of
to
what
make
happened.
sure that once you've tested, you validate. Of course, you can document, and we can even certify now all your reports with Wiiisdom. Thank you very much, JF. So let me add to the sage. Now we got actually a special treat. We're going to have a chat with Gassan about why he chose Wiiisdom for his UNV to NX. I recall was about 60,000 documents. It's always great to hear customer insights. So let's go into it and see what Gassan has to say. So Gassan, thank you very much for joining. And I love Pink Floyd behind you. So as always, I tell you that each time. So great to have you today.
They're here to stay anyway, but yeah, we had a project migration from our backend from DB2 to Snowflake. So we had a lot of universes with monster universes connected to thousands of documents, and we took the opportunity also to so the project was twofold: migrate DB2 from to Snowflake, and then upgrade the universes and repoint the documents, the ones connected to DB2. But we took the opportunity also to whatever we have many backends, and they have like UNV universes. So we took this opportunity to convert from UNV to UNX, regardless of the backend. So the whole thing was delivered last mid-December last year, and then it was a good experience using your tools to facilitate this migration, regardless whether you're UNV, UNX, or for a change in the backend. So we did have to do a lot of tests, and with limited resources and budget, we were able to deliver like on time last year.
And boy, I know you guys were really limited on resources, especially in your business. I know margins are tough, so a dollar is a dollar for you guys. So I know you're always trying to get the most out of it. And like out of that project, how many people were really doing the work?
Well, actually, we couldn't afford to have the business involve the business and the processes, especially the validation process, because well, everybody is overwhelmed, and then we have a special context that we couldn't afford to take people from departments and they have them to validate their content. So what we did is me and my colleague, we split the tasks, and then we will address the universes for special departments, and then we will see which documents were we mostly used, which ones are planned are running like a publication using this 360 eyes the tool. So we're able to tell which documents are actually active, which ones seem to be critical, and then we took it on ourselves to do the migration with the 360 suite tools.
And
I
yeah,
wanted to mention that we wanted to use the automation framework, the one that comes by default with this tool, with
okay.
SAP. Unfortunately, we couldn't use it for more than 10, 50 documents per universe. And then we have thousands and thousands of documents, and probably half of them are active. So we really had to use a tool that will facilitate and then make it easy to deliver on time and on budget.
So you're saying things just didn't work with the migration tool provided, with the automation framework. Is
It
that what you're
didn't
saying?
work. Usability, it's hard, and then the hardest part is, yes, you will be able to migrate to UNV to UNX, and then if you have like 10, 20, 50 documents max, you can go still, and then you do it with manually do it. But then when it comes to testing, and if your document returns like hundreds of pages, and then how can you compare to see where's the discrepancy? So the comparison tool the 360 suite provides, we could do it visually and then instantly. It's just a matter of running a report in the in like connecting to DB2, and in our case, and running the same document connecting to Snowflake, take an extract and visually see what the differences are. It's like,
Yeah.
to the naked eyes, you won't see the tabs and the blanks, and then this you couldn't see, but it's still there. And then you don't see the decimals, because going from UNV to UNX, somehow the same documents, there was a rounding. They were rounded in the new version. So it's hard. The small details that are hard to see, you can have the decision. Okay, like a decimal, yeah, because it's a rounding
Right.
issue, but it's not an error. So the document still goes live.
So you know, a lot of people say, "Hey, do I need to validate my reports after I went from UNV to UNX?" So, you know, have you seen regressions, Gassan?
Well, we went by batches, because
Obviously, yeah.
we didn't want to do a big bang thing, and then only to realize we have an issue. So we split our migration to batches, and we use the 360 suite to create an administration task to do the conversion, follow up with the users, make sure that they're okay with the result, and then accelerate the execution of the remaining batches. So we didn't have to go into regressions, because everything tested as we wanted.
Right.
But
But
we
obviously,
still
I
had.
assume you found regressions. I mean, where you could catch them before they were in prod.
Yeah, okay, exactly. This is what why, and especially when we're moving from one backend to another, there's a syntax, SQL syntax is not 100% the same, and we have complex queries. So yeah, this is where what we needed to confirm, that we connect to the new backend and run the test, and then decide if it's a go or no go for the batch. And
So,
we couldn't rely also, and if in case we run into errors, we still had the backup, the 360 suite backup running. So we could we had the luxury of to we have the luxury to like selective rollbacks in case we run into issues. but unfortunately we didn't have any issues.
And if I recall, for your 60,000 documents, I think without 360, you would have needed one person for over a year to do that process, not even validating.
even more.
Yeah, I think it was more than
Especially
2 years.
yeah, it's even especially because we have many custom SQLs written, and
Right.
these needed to be validated because we have critical reports, unfortunately, in custom SQL. So being able to deliver fast on the regular documents, we had enough time to address the custom SQL ones and fix them manually one by one. Like we were two persons.
So just to sum up initially, so before going to us, you looked at what SAP had, and then
Yeah.
you found some limitations where it was okay to do one, just a few, but if you wanted to do things in bulk, it was just not working. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. We made a proof of concept just to
Oh,
justify it, to justify the need to have to invest on a tool, and then for less a month's proof of concept, we were not able to get anywhere close to what we needed to do before the end of the DB2 contract. We have a time limitation. We cannot renew the DB2 contract because we signed with Snowflake. So
okay.
we were fine, and then thanks to the tool, we were able to deliver on time and on budget.
And I know that was important on that. So, and I know even you guys have looked at hiring to do things more right shore, near shore, offshore, and at the end is you decide to do things internally. So
But you need to know you need to know about we know a lot more. We need the the back end, we know the business, and we know
right.
the user. So we cannot just ship this somewhere and then only back end to go back and forth and this and that. So, and like I said, we needed to with the to in to get the business involved to a minimum because of lack of resources and lack of understaffed. Some departments are
Yeah, and most of the time people don't try to get the business involved. However, sometimes it's the case. So you need to again even more automate things for the business. So make things as
this
easy
is the reason
as
why we went with
possible.
the automation tool that you guys
Yeah.
provided us, and then it helped us a lot.
Hey, Gassan, thank you very much. Just stay on for a couple seconds. JF, are you still on? Yes, he is. I'll add him to the stage. I'll just take a couple of
Muted.
questions before we go to the BI 2025. Okay, so here we got a question from Michael. Are used universe objects based on their inclusion in Webby reports or based on refresh activity? We still have many users using WRC, so their information is not in the repository.
Well, it's there's
Go ahead.
many parts to that question. Oh no, go ahead, Gassan.
Go ahead,
Please.
Gassan.
The thing is, we in a previous upgrade, we made sure we got rid of the full clients because the distribution, the software was costing at certifying and distributing was causing it was too expensive and many issues, especially when it comes to the Java version installed on each and every machine. So we always had issues with the Java because the same machine would have like a requirement for certain version of Java for an application that critical application, and it won't work with the Webby Reach client. So we managed to make everything go live Webby, especially that was the new the recent one, the latest 4.2 version of Webby. It's very close to what we see the functionalities provided on the desktop. So yes, everything was in the platform and we had visibility on what's going on. And for our case, we had to minimize the documents. Like we didn't want to migrate obsolete documents. So the 360 eyes tools provided us with the functionality where we can tell when was the last time a document viewed, retrieved, refreshed, whatever. So then we decide, okay, this we flag for migration, for repointing. The other one, I send a list to the users and make sure they delete them. I get their word on the deletion. So I would rely on when was the last time the document used to make sure that it's a required document.
There is another question here from Srinivas. So, I don't know what SAP is going to do actually, but Srinivas, this is why we're here to educate the community. And it's something that you can definitely do with Wiiisdom. I think, as Ghassan pointed out, is I think things didn't work too well for you.
No, unfortunately, yeah.
So we love to talk to you after the event, and we could do a chat of that. Okay, then let's take another question here. Okay, let's go another one. Okay, we got another question about the Tomcat version that we will be covering after that. Is there any change in the license model for BI 2025? No, it's the same. And then you will have all the new functionalities with the interactive dashboards that are going to be in BI 2025. So you'll be able to use that as not only a reporting solution, but also as a dashboard solution, and it's going to be fully supported by SAP. Srinivas also had a question: is the reporting solution price based on a number of reports, or it comes as a package? It comes as a package, and then we can chat after on that. I think Ghassan, you were saying at the end it was fairly competitive versus doing it internally or outsourcing.
Yeah, and we're gonna be using it for our move from 4.2 to 4.3. So.
Okay. Is this taking into account the personal documents too? Current process only lets us convert public documents. Who wants to take that question?
Yeah, that's correct. It takes also the personal documents. I'll be quick to mention that the inboxes are not covered because they're not meant as a storage location. But personal documents, yes.
Can we get inventory lists of all Webby reports and corresponding UNV with 360, mainly to coordinate testing, activities?
Short answer, yes, of course.
Okay, let's be quick here. Does the 360 suite, Wiiisdom 360 suite, will show the error message if any data discrepancy when we validate the data between UNVs and UNX Webby reports?
I'm not exactly sure which error message we're referring to, but if any error arises during the conversion or the repointing process, it will be captured in the log. The validation itself simply compares working documents between each other.
Also, do we have option to compare SQL syntax after converting UNV to UNX? Maybe Ghassan, that question, that answer. Or not, or maybe Jeff knows.
Well, the thing what the tool does, it runs the Webby and then it creates an extract. So it doesn't tell you what's the new syntax is, because the syntax you're gonna fix it. You fix it when you convert the universe from UNV to UNX. But when the report executes it, it just takes a copy, an instance of your report, and creates an XML output, and then it compares the XML files.
Yes, but however, if I can expand on that. Aside from the validation, we have the auditing feature, which will in fact capture the SQL from there. So yes, if you're looking for that, it is available.
Okay, the inbox reports, if refreshed, will still be pointed to the older UNV after conversion, JF?
Again, we don't, and I may stand corrected on that, but to the best of my knowledge, we don't touch the inbox reports because, again, it's not considered a valid storage medium. So, but if they're in the favorites or personal documents, we can repoint them.
Okay, so just the last thing before we go to BI 2025, in a future live summit. Essentially, we will be doing a live migration, and then these are the 12 steps that we will be sharing with you. So feel free to contact us if you want an entire process on how to go to BI 2025. So, over the years, we've done thousands of migrations with Wiiisdom 360 Suite, and we have actually refined the process because we have actually validated Wiiisdom on BI 2025. And so we'd be very happy to provide you this entire methodology on how to go there. Okay. Okay, I see. Is Gregory still in the backstage? I see Gregory is still in the backstage. Gassan, thank you very much for taking the time. Jeff, and if you wish, Gassan, actually, you are more than welcome after that to join the round table if you want to stick around. Jeff,
Okay.
I will be looking forward to see you shortly as well for the round table. Thank you very much, folks.